20,000 people have now crossed the channel in not-so-small boats already this year. But yesterday it was mooted that maybe a way of keeping track of some of these people was to have ankle tags and wrist tags, similar to how you see offenders on bail, so that we can monitor them, monitor their movements, we know where they are, and stop people absconding. I am joined now by Henry Bolton, international border security expert and the former leader of UKIP, to react, Henry, to the news that apparently we are now seeing thousands of Albanian asylum seekers cutting off ankle tags so that they can evade the Home Office. Henry, what's going on there?
Patrick, when it comes to Albanian organised criminals, we've got to remember that they were born of the civil war in Albania, the war in Kosovo, and the conflict in the Republic of Northern Macedonia. All of these were wars in which the Albanians took on the authorities because the authorities were primarily trying to clamp down on Albanian organised crime. These are people who have a culture that is really centuries old of disregarding and flying in the face of law. That's their culture. Not all Albanians, but certainly a great many of them. And if British politicians and law enforcement authorities think that they're dealing with, the average British burglar here, who's just simply exploiting an opportunity to move people across the channel, then they are sorely mistaken. Those of us who were in Kosovo in the early 2000s were warning of this. We were warning the European Union. We were warning the United Nations that the Western appeasement of the Albanian community in Kosovo was breeding a future organised crime explosion in Europe. That's what's happened. The Albanians have established networks reaching down into South America. They now control, if not all, then a substantial amount of the cocaine and heroin trade in the United Kingdom, as well as being responsible for about 97% of the illegal firearms held in the UK. These are ruthless, well-organised, professional and highly dangerous criminal networks. They are not people who are going to be deterred by having an ankle bracelet.
Yeah, and Henry, this I think actually summarises what one of the major issues with the ankle bracelets plan was in the first place, which is that, well, if you want to abscond, you would just cut it off and you would back the fact that the security in our police force is not going to be able to track you down before you can absolutely leg it. So, ankle bracelets, other things like it, a no-go when it comes to our asylum crisis at the minute.
Absolutely no go. Patrick, we're starting from the fundamentally the wrong place. These are criminals. These aren't people we just want to keep an eye on. These are people who are involved in transnational organised crime. They're people smugglers, they're narcotic smugglers, they're firearms smugglers, and they're coming over here and bringing their foot soldiers over here. The National Crime Agency knows it. They've been open about it. The Swedes have got a similar problem. France has got a similar problem. Germany's got a similar problem. This is Albanian organised crime. And if we don't recognise it as such, and we're applying solutions that we'd apply to somebody who would give an ASBO to or something, then we're way off the mark. There is a serious underestimation of how dangerous these people are. They have absolutely no regard for the law in Albania, in Europe, or here. They need to be dealt with as such. They're criminals, robust, dangerous criminals, and we need to treat them accordingly.
I suppose one of the saving graces, maybe I'm wrong though, Henry, one of the saving graces is that we do have a returns agreement with Albania, as far as I understand.
We do. Indeed we do. And in fact, we're working more closely with the Albanians. I would say that we need to work with them to actually dismember Albanian organised crime, not simply to liaise with the Albanians, as we are doing. So we need a far more robust working relationship with the Albanians, point one. But we do have that returns agreement. What the government has not put in place is the structures and the resources to make sure those returns happen. And they also have not found the political will to drive through the legal problems. If an Albanian comes into this country and is tagged, they need to be picked up, driven to an RAF airfield and put on a plane and sent to Rennes Airport in Albania. Okay. And that's an end to it. There should be no court for them. No appeal.
All right. Henry, let me cut in, right, because I am here today primarily talking about an issue that taxpayers feel they are being needlessly clobbered with. But I am also talking, that was you, Les, by the way, what I'm talking to you about is another issue where taxpayers feel incredibly hard done by. Porous borders, us paying, of course, for people coming across, and a variety of different methods that are not working. In general, do you think the taxpayer in this country is being ripped right off?
Oh, of course, Patrick. Look, ripped off in two ways. We've got politicians and officials who are so out of touch with what the ordinary person is having to deal with today that they're coming up with rules and regulations that are just increasing suffering. They seem to disregard it. They're out of touch. The second thing is that we are being clobbered for taxes that really are the result of bad organisation. We've got bad organisation in healthcare, bad organisation in our schools, bad organisation in terms of the immigration, but also bad organisation in terms of the way we run local government. We've got a mayor of London, in my opinion. I mean, I'm in Kent. He's starting to encroach on our patch now. He absolutely is out of touch, but he's imposing restrictions on us, partly because he can't afford to run his administration properly. He's spending money where money doesn't need to be spent and charging the taxpayer for it. And the taxpayer is buckling. It's simply not good enough.
All right. Henry, look, thank you very much for your time. Henry Bolton there, the former leader of UKIP and international border control expert.